Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me on archive. Make sure you press the like button if you're listening on archive. Let me know will be winning this fight. Do you have Christy Martin and Vinny Pazienza will be the judges? So we're basing it off of that. Who will they pick as the winner? Or if it's for whatever reason stopped because one guy cannot continue, who will win by stoppage, regardless of what anything says. Although this whole event is crazy, right? I keep looking at this whole event and the way it's been promoted, the way it's been put forth in front of people. And honest to God, like, your approach to this fight should be, hey, man, I'm just supporting these two legends. I want them to make money, so I'm going to pay for it because of that. That should be your approach going into this fight. Anything short of that or more than that, you got a problem. All right? If you come into this fight expecting more than that, then you're going to be very disappointed. These guys are over 50 years old, have those expectations. They keep changing the rules. They keep changing. They go 1 minute knockouts are allowed. The next minute they're not allowed. 1 minute Mike Tyson saying, oh, he's coming for destruction. Right, the next minute we're hearing about how it's going to be sparring. Oh, no, it's going to be hard sparring. Oh, no, it's going to be an exhibition. Well, it's going to be like a real fight, but not really a good fight. Or whatever the case is. Shout out to Mr. Factoid yelling on it. Well, shout out to you, man. We got to get you on one of these panels in the future, man. Seriously. Shout out to you. I keep hearing the rules change and this, that, and the third. And I've heard both guys' interviews, and they keep talking about how the real them and their alter ego is back to life and this, that, and the third. And like if you believe that, then that's on you. Right? I don't believe that. I don't believe that the alter ego of these guys are showing up. I don't think we're going to get a prime Mike Tyson at the age of 50. I don't think we're going to get the old Roy Jones. We're going to get an old Roy Jones. We're not going to get the old Mike Tyson. We're going to get an old Mike Tyson. You understand? Old in age, not old of futures past. Do you understand? There's nothing wrong with supporting this event if you're doing it for the sole purpose of paying tribute to these two legends that give a lot to the sport of boxing. Mike Tyson, a huge name in sports, period, an icon in our society. There ain't a person alive that doesn't know who Mike Tyson is. All right? I swear to God. There was a baby born the other day, and the baby was like, yo, so was the fight tomorrow? I swear to God, like the baby was born, right? His first words were Tyson. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't even mama. Like, it was Tyson. It's true. There's kids out there in the world that the first word they learned was Tyson. It wasn't even data. Like Tyson. Like, but anyway, look. Mike Tyson, huge figure. Right, iconic figure. Roy Jones, same thing. Amazing career. So if you're forking out $50, it should be for the sole purpose of supporting these guys and for what they gave to the sport of boxing. That should be the only motivation. That should be the only reason you're buying this fight. If you're buying this fight because you think you're going to see the fight of the year, you're out of your mind. If you're buying this fight because you're hoping you see the Tyson of the 80s or even the 90s, even the early 2000s, you're out of your mind. If you're buying this fight because you want to see the Roy Jones and Fajan Ruiz, you're out of your mind. If you're buying it because you want to see the Roy Jones that dominated from 160 to 175, you are out of your damn mind. That is not going to happen. Understand that. Do you understand? If you want to support them, if you have the money and you can afford it, then you do that. Do it to support them. Don't do it because you're expecting something that is simply not going to happen. Yo, can you guys hear me, by the way? Did my audio go out for a little bit? I think my mic disconnected there. I apologize. If you're going to support these guys, support them because of what they've done. Support them because you're appreciative of what they gave you in the past. They're going to go out there. They might put on a show, but it's not going to be blunt force trauma. It's not going to be a real fight, guys. I really hope people understand this. Oh, no, but this style, Tyson. I mean, Tyson is, he's uncontrollable. This, that, like, is it possible that Mike Tyson can, lose his mind in there and like body slam Roy Jones or something? Like, you know what I mean? Or like, is it possible that Mike Tyson get frustrated and knock the referee out or some shit like that? Is it possible that Mike Tyson, bites the, ear off of Roy Jones Jr.? Is that a possibility? Well, it's, people will say, well, hey, that's Mike Tyson. I just don't think you're going to get the show you were expecting. A lot of people are expecting. Look at Mike Tyson. Look at him. Is he in great shape for a guy in his 50? Absolutely. But is he in like, oh, I'm going to go hard for 6 rounds? Is he in that type of shape? No. Every video footage you see of Mike Tyson hitting the mitts, it's like 8 seconds long, and oh, but he looks amazing. Oh, look at Mike. Mike is landing combinations. Oh my God, look at Mike. Mike is doing this, he's doing that. Let me tell you something, man. There's a reason Mike Tyson's been out of the ring now for years, 15 years. Mike Tyson sat on the ring apron, his back against the ropes, a defeated man against McBride, right? And he said, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I haven't loved fighting since over a decade now. I'm only doing it for the money. I don't want to do this. That was 15 years ago. And on and off, he's been getting in shape, getting out of shape, getting in shape, getting out of shape. He's been doing this on and off, but now someone's fed him the idea of coming back to fight. But they're doing an exhibition. There is a reason why they're only doing 2-minute rounds. There's a reason for that. Roy Jones was just told it's going to be 2 minutes. If he's in such amazing shape, why is it only 2 minutes? 2-minute rounds. The reason it's only 2-minute rounds, I believe, because the organizers of this event know Mike Tyson cannot go a full 3-minute rounds for 6 rounds. He can't do it. All right? He can't. Roy could do it. How do I know? Roy's been fighting for the last 15 years. You can say whatever you want. He's been fighting. Roy's been in professional boxing fights for the last 15 years. He just had one about 2 years ago. 10 hard rounds, 3-minute rounds. Roy will have the most energy in his fight. Roy is going to outpoint Mike Tyson. They're going to have fun in there, guys. These guys are going to be smiling half the time. That's all it's going to be. It's going to be a sparring fight. All right? That is it. That's all it's going to be. And Mike Tyson's going to look tired after 2 rounds. I just know it. Look at him. He don't look like the guy I've been seeing on those Instagram videos and all that. See, nowadays, you can't trust these guys, man. You can't. You got filters now. You got shit that make you look thinner than you really are. Pictures are pictures. Those 8-second clips where he has a T-shirt on and he's sweating. Oh, he looks like the old Mike, and they have him like half of his body's like in the shadow where it makes a 6-pack glare out. But now you look at him here, he don't look like that. I promise you, this is going to be it's going to be a fair sparring match. And I think Roy Jones is going to have the most energy. And given the type of fight that it is, I just don't see someone getting knocked out cold. I just don't. Like at the end of the day, like Mike Tyson this is not the same Mike Tyson at all. He's over 50 years old and inactive for 10 years. Mike Tyson hasn't thumped with somebody like that for a while. Roy Jones has, man. Roy Jones beat the bare knuckle champ, Bobby Gunn. That's right. Roy Jones has been fighting, journeyman, but he's been fighting and he's been active. Roy Jones is ready. Roy Jones is in shape. Period. They're trying to save Mike Tyson. To 2-minute rounds, they know he's going to get tired. While Roy Jones has been engaging in professional boxing fights, win or lose, Mike Tyson's been doing drugs. Mike Tyson's been drinking. Mike Tyson's been smoking weed. Okay, that's what Mike Tyson has been doing. Don't get me wrong. Right after the John Ruiz fight, which was a great win for Roy, y'all must have forgot. Okay? Obviously, Roy Jones did some harm to his body, right? Going back down to light heavyweight. As he describes it, he was cutting muscle, right? In order to go back down because he gained muscle, then he lost the muscle. But let's say he didn't go down. Let's say he would have stayed at heavyweight. The one fight he wanted was the Mike Tyson fight. Let me tell you right now, Roy Jones versus Mike Tyson. All right? Back then, would have been a huge fight. That shit would have done 2 million back then. Buys. Easy. That would have been a blockbuster hit. Even that Tyson would have beaten Roy Jones. All right? So like, I understand that at that time, he would have beaten Roy Jones Jr. I would have picked him to win. But right now, guys, just think about it. Mike Tyson literally just quit in the middle of a fight and just said he didn't want to do it anymore. He said it was done with fighting 15 years ago. Oh, Batista, the power is the last thing to go. We say this stuff about guys in their 30s and, in their 40s. We don't say this about guys in their 50s. Especially not guys that have mistreated their bodies over the years. Mike Tyson confessed just a couple years ago that for the first time in a long time, he stopped doing drugs. He's just not the same guy. It just isn't. What's going on? Zeno, A-Stone. Facto, it's still on here. He's a stand-up comedian. Good for him. Boxing Dialogue. A-Stone, how you guys, man? Zeno, KP from KC5. Bobby, the smoking gun. That's right. He beat Bobby Gunn. You guys can laugh, but it was still a fighter. You know what I mean? I'm telling you. "55 years old. It's an old-ass dude. Isaiah, I'm not fighting Roy Jones. All right? Can you go 3 minutes? Not with Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones will knock me the fuck out. Okay? I'm comparing Roy Jones with Mike Tyson. Not myself. Okay? Right now, I go in there with Roy Jones Jr. I'll get knocked the spark out, smooth out. Probably whenever Roy Jones wants to knock me out. If he wants to knock me out in the first 10 seconds, I'm out. All right? All you will hear is, psh, and then these style will be knocked out cold in the middle of the ring. All right? Now, is he going to do that to Tyson? No. Right? And yeah, a 55-year-old Tyson will knock me smooth out. I'll probably end up in the hospital. Right? I'm not delusional. Right? Okay? But what does that have to do with whether or not Mike Tyson will go a full 3-minute rounds with Roy Jones Jr. if the pace is high? What is that like? Like, serious, think about it. There's a reason it's only 2 minutes. There's a reason. You know? Now the question is, will Vinny Paz give the nod to Roy? Is Vinny Paz going to rob Roy Jones Jr. is my question. Vinny Paz going to remember what Roy did to him in the ring and say, you know what? No, I'm going to give it to Tyson. I don't know. We will see. I think Roy Jones will be given the nod by 3 judges. I really do. I don't think we're going to see a knockout in this fight. I just don't. I think Tyson's going to tire out after about 2 rounds. I think he's going to be exhausted. You're going to see a 55-year-old in the ring. You're going to see that. Tyson's almost 60 years old, guys. Right? And people are having these dreams that he's going to like come back or some shit. All right? Now, Roy Jones is no spring chicken himself, but he's been active. That matters. Like, that is a big deal. People brushing it off like it's not a big deal. Like, yeah, he's been active, but who's he been fighting? It doesn't matter. He's been active. He went 8 rounds with Bobby Gunn. He went 10 rounds with multiple dudes. Right? He's been active. That's what he's been. I'm telling you. People think like they're going to go out there and just fucking start swinging for the fence. That's not. Let me tell you, man. Round 1's probably going to be one of the most tame rounds. People are going to be like, oh, after round 1. I swear to God. Right? Mike Tyson's going to do little like bobbing and weaving. He's going to do it all quick. And people are going to be like, oh. And Roy's just going to keep his guard up and shit. Right? Well, what? This is what's going to happen. Like, and tell me this is not the fight after you come back. Please come back. Round 1, ding, ding, Roy Jones, right? He's going to be on his back foot. Mike Tyson's going to have like the mitts up, right? Peekaboo, and just doing quick moves and shit. Like, left, right, left, right, left, right. Like, oh, shit, Mike. Like I'm telling you right now, that's what he's going to do. Like, to impress people, right? And then it's going to shoot some shots, and it's going to miss, bro. It's going to miss, or they're going to hit the gloves of Roy Jones. And Roy Jones is not going to engage with him while he's doing all that. He's going to win round 1 just by being the aggressor and by looking impressive, just like he did, hitting the mitts, okay? Only he's going to be hitting the glove of Roy Jones and the elbows, all right? But people are going to be, oh, there he comes. He's come, but he's going to be tired. Round 2, more of the same. He's just not going to look as crisp doing it, okay? Roy Jones is going to start popping some light jabs on him, right? And then he's just going to be a sitting duck after that. He's going to be tired in round 3. He's going to be tired in round 4. He's going to be tired in round 5. Roy Jones is going to be smiling, right? Going to be doing his thing, and he might land some shots late in the fight, but there's going to be no steam behind him. He's not going to be able to get the torque he needs to get behind the shots. They're going to be arm punches. And watch, like Roy Jones is going to be holding him, looking out at the crowd, and he's not going to hurt Mike or anything. You know, I don't think he could hurt Mike, but I think he's going to just outpoint him. That's what I think is going to happen. Now they might rob Roy Jones, right? Now they rob Roy, it's a different story. If Vinny Paz and Christy Martin and Chad Dawson decide to give it to Tyson, that's a different story. But I'll tell you right now, I just broke down the fight for you. I'm telling you how it's going to go. Well, Boxing Dialogue, I mean, let me tell you something. There's no doubt that at one point Mike Tyson was a freak of nature. There's no doubt about it. Like, no one, both these guys were a freak of nature, right? One guy is a shell of himself. That's Roy Jones Jr. He's a shell of himself. Tyson's not even the shell. He's the shell of the shell. Like, well, what is that? Like, is that the skin of the shell? That's all he is. Tyson's not even a shell of his former self, man. I don't think he'll have 1 minute of his former self in there. Not even that. Because 1 minute of his former self, I'll give him a good shot to win. Right? But I just don't see Roy Jones getting knocked out. If Tyson hurts Jones, he's not gonna go for the kill, like just like he did it on the other ones. Like I'm just telling you right now, Mike Tyson, okay, it's gonna tire out, and Roy Jones is gonna win. Y'all must have forgot, right? Kevin McBride's the GOAT, okay. He's a petty dude, says Bruce Ghost. Hey, Vinny Paz might screw Roy Jones. All right? Now, what I don't want is this. I don't want people to be like, oh, see, I always knew Roy Jones could beat Tyson. Dude, this fight doesn't count. Okay, I don't give a shit what anybody says. This fight does not count. All right? I don't give a shit if Roy Jones knocks out Mike Tyson. It doesn't count. All right? If there's ever been a fight that I could say it doesn't count, it's this one. Now, for those that are like, no, but these style, let me tell you something. Does anybody here ever believed in their wildest dreams that Hector Macho Camacho could beat Sugar Ray Leonard? Anybody in their wildest dream believe that a feather-fisted Hector Macho Camacho was going to stop Sugar Ray Leonard? Now, Leonard was nowhere near as old as Mike Tyson is right now, by the way. And Camacho was past it too, right? In a higher weight class. I just think people are underestimating that Roy Jones can hurt somebody with clean shots. That he can put a hurting on Mike. That he can make Mike miss and make him pay. Especially a Mike that's almost 60 years old. All right? Just think about it. When Joe Biden is done with his first term, Mike Tyson's going to be 60 years old. All right? I just want to put that out there now. Okay? We will see how they feel, but at the end of the day, I got to go with the guy that's had more fight. Like, honest to God, like, I just think people are just overlooking the fact that Mike Tyson hasn't had a professional boxing fight in 15 years. That's a long time, guys. That's a long time. Like, if you got a chick pregnant the last time Tyson fought, you would have a 14-year-old son. All right? Like, I'm just putting that out there. You know what I mean? Let's go over their box rec really quick. Look at this. Mike Tyson hasn't won a fight since 2003. 17 years. He got beat by Danny Williams. He got beat by Kevin McBride. Just saying. Just saying. Danny Williams went on to get knocked out by Journeyman after that. I mean, I'm just saying. Okay? For what it's worth. He lost to McBride in the middle of 2005. That is unbelievable. 15 years. 15 years, ladies and gentlemen. 15 years. Roy Jones, people can tell, oh, but what about this? What about that? Since 2005, Roy Jones has had multiple fights. He's been active. He fought a guy that was 30-11 when he went 10 rounds with him. Okay? Say what you want. A guy that had 41 professional fights in 2018. He knocked out Bobby Gunn in 2017. Okay? He fought a guy with like 30 professional fights, Rodney Moore in 2016. Right? Yes, he knocked out that Phillips guy in his debut, right? Early. All that shit. Okay? Whatever. But all I'm saying is he's been active. And that matters. That matters. I believe that matters. in my opinion. So yes, of course, Roy Jones started getting knocked out a lot, and I could see how people are doing the equation. Well, if he's been getting knocked out, he's going to go in there against Mike Tyson. The math you add up. Well, Mike's got to land some clean, and in order to knock him out. Will he? Mike's old, man. Mike's an old, washed up man. I'm telling you right now. He's old. Ray Leonard came back after a long layoff, fought feather-fisted Camacho, and he got stopped. Not to mention, guy, especially if you've been inactive this long, who knows what could happen? Like an Achilles can go out on him. He could pull a muscle. He could the amount of things that could happen to Tyson, both of them actually, but especially Tyson who's been inactive, I think are being underestimated. I think Roy Jones is going to win. I do. Let's go, Roy. Come on. Now, I will admit I am a Roy Jones Jr. fan. All right. I will admit that I am rooting for Roy Jones, so there may be some bias here. I'll admit that. But I do believe that Roy Jones, right, is the fresher fighter. I think he's the more active fighter. I think that matters when it comes to reflexes, muscle memory, so many things, right, that are underestimated by people are underestimating here. Like just saying, well, Roy Jones knocked out a lot. Tyson, big puncher. Okay, done, right? Okay, if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. You know what I mean? If that's how you feel, hey, by all means. But a lot of things could happen to Tyson here, man. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if Tyson pulls like a muscle here. You know what I mean? Like a bicep tear or something. Because this sport, it just isn't for like someone that inactive and that old. It's just not made for that. You know what I mean? This is a young man's game. Now they're both old, but one's been more active. You could just tell. You could just tell with Mike Tyson's body. You could just tell. Like Tyson, that ain't, you look at that picture. That ain't the dude that been showing you like in the clips and stuff. That's not that dude, right? You've been had, right? It's all good. Zeno says Roy ducked the James Toney ring. There's no need for a rematch. Roy Jones dominated James Toney. No need for a rematch. You know what I mean? Tony wanted Mike Tyson. I'll tell you that. Tyson's the guy that quit in 2004 and 2005. His last two fights. That's who Tyson is now. And if anything, he's a shell of that man. It might be, look, if you're a big Tyson fan, you probably shouldn't even watch this fight. I think a lot of you are going to be heartbroken. He ain't even he's not even the shell of his former self. The shell of his former self was like in the early 2000s. All right? And I think Tyson has a lot of trauma too, man. I don't know, man. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm kind of surprised that it's if you think Tyson's going to win, you think Tyson's going to win. But I'm surprised he's so heavily favored. I'm really surprised. And I get it, because he's been knocked out a lot. And like, look, man, let me just tell you something. Roy Jones is going to be all right. Okay? It's going to be okay. Because now, I mean, he's fighting an old man here. This is not, it's an exhibition. It's only 2 minutes. It's like, if it gets serious, we'll already be like 2-3 rounds in and a 6-round fight. Like, there's so many variables here that I don't believe favor Tyson at all. If anything, they want, like, the Tyson side wanted 2 minutes. You know? Tyson's going to get tired, man. I'm just telling you guys right now, if you don't knock out Roy in the first round, he's in trouble. Like big trouble. Okay? Y'all musta forgot. right? That's what y'all must have forgot. Roy Jones Jr. is going to win this fight. Who wants to take a $5 Cash App bet? First one to say it. Who wants to bet me $5 Cash App? Right now, we're gonna go by the official judge's decision, right? Or if one guy gets stopped, that's it, right? So whatever Christy Martin, Vinny Pazienza, and Shad Doss, whoever they judge as the winner, or if one guy cannot continue and they stop it, then the other guy wins, obviously, right? Who wants to take a $5 Cash App bet? Who wants to take it? Just a fun wager. Who wants to give away $5 because they believe in Mike Tyson? Anybody? Who's down to give away some money? Zeno thinks 10 seconds. Oh, Tyson's going to look amazing for 10 seconds. And then it's going to hit him like, oh, this isn't one of those 8-second clips. Like, I got to keep going. Tyson needs to get CD oil exemption between rounds. A-Rod, we're on. Okay, I got me and A-Rod. A-Rod's got Tyson. I got Roy Jones. All right, it's on. All right. Tyson's last win was before the invasion of Iraq, bro. A lot of you were still in your daddy's nutsacks, all right, the last time Mike Tyson won a fight. Do you understand? Oh, he's going to come back. Like, okay, we will see. We will see. Now, I really hope that the winner of this fight doesn't get a false insecurity and think they're back and all that. Okay? That's what I'm really worried about. Like if Tyson does knock out Roy, and then he's like, oh, I'm back. And then they want to put him in there with a top 10 contender or some shit. He's really going to get hurt. And like, you know what I mean? Like, people need to understand how fragile these dudes are. There are some fragile dudes. You know what I mean? Like, they're old men. Like, I'm just saying. It's just that one, I just believe the reflexes are going to be there more. The muscle memory is going to be there more, right? Doesn't have a tendency to just kind of give up, like Mike Tyson does. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, Roy Jones Jr. is going to win this fight. Yeah, I don't need Roy to win, and then he thinks he's back, and the real Roy is back. Like, none of you are the real nothing if you win. I'm just telling you that right now. Cool. We got dudes out here that were still in their daddy's nutsacks when Tyson was in his prime. They're like, oh, no, the Tyson in his prime's back. Like, okay, well, whatever you say. All right? Whatever you say, I guess. But this dude ain't back. Tyson's going to lose. All right? And then we're going to hear all these excuses about Tyson. This time they're valid. He's old. He's been inactive. He's been doing drugs. Please don't get on Mike Tyson's case if he loses. All right? Don't do videos like, oh, Tyson, you did it again. And like, if you're supporting Mike, support him. Buy the fight and enjoy while it lasts. I hope they have fun in there, and that's that. You know what I mean? I hope it's a good little exhibition. I really do. What's going on, D? Beville the Champ. Roundtable episode 6 was fire. Salute these style. Absolutely, man. And I appreciate the support. You guys can join the membership as well. Just 99 cents a month. You can support D-Style Boxing Live. A lot of you have joined, and I appreciate that. It keeps the channel running. Time is money and valuable after all. So me being able to come here, give you that content, support like this, just little stuff like this, $2, $1 there, pressing the like button, sharing the content, stuff like that goes a long way, and I appreciate it, guys. But Andy Ruiz will be inspired after this fight. Oh man, Andy Ruiz, bro. Along with the Dempsey fans, Rocky fans, Flomos, Pactards, and Wilder fans are the worst, most extreme fan base. Well, look, I'll tell you what, though. Mike, man, let me tell you something about Mike, man. I'll always I'll always admire Iron Mike, man. I really will. Like, He's just part of my childhood. You know what I mean? Like there was nothing like a big Mike Tyson fight. The young dynamite kid. And those butterflies in your stomach right before the bell's gonna ring, and it felt like they were about to unleash a rabid dog. Okay. On a damn prey, and that's how it felt. Like it's like, oh man, this is about to get destroyed, and then he would just go in there and just slaughter them. Even if it just lasted around, it was one of the most exciting times in sports, and I'll always remember that. But that Mike Tyson's gone. He doesn't exist anymore. He's been gone. He didn't exist. Even when he was still like a top contender, early 2000s and 90s, it was gone. Right? It's been gone. And if it was gone then, what makes you think it's still around now? No, sir. Mm-mm. I know what you meant, B. Bevel, I got you. Yeah, go. He can. Like, well, what if he's just popping right? Boom, boom, boom. Mike's just too tired to do anything about it, or just doesn't have the energy. He can't. Like, you gotta understand. Like, Mike has to generate that power. Like the way Mike would use his entire body to land punches on these giants, right? Like his uppercut, it was his whole body. Like he would kind of like move all his knees would almost like touch the fucking mat. He would just come up and boom, like what I mean? Like that, all that explosiveness. Like it just isn't there anymore. I'm not saying he doesn't hit hard. He knocked me the fuck out. You know what I mean? But is he gonna knock out a guy that's been active? And Roy Jones Jr. That's the question. Even if he has a shaky chin and all that, he still has to throw it. I just think it's going to be too telegraphed for Roy. I just got to be honest. I think it's going to be too telegraphed for Roy, man. He'll be more dangerous on a counter, like when Roy throws, and then he'll kind of throw back. That's where Mike's going to be dangerous for Roy. I just don't think he's going to lead with something on Roy. I just don't think like he has really anything left to be anything close to that Mike Tyson, right? I still think the hooks will be there. I mean, that's a punch that even at an old age you can throw. So I think that's going to be there. He'll be able to throw some straights. The jab, if he could kind of, Tyson hasn't used the jab in years, but if he could utilize it here, he could have some success. But we will see, man. If Mike Tyson starts trying to throw combinations, I just think it's going to be too slow. And it's not really like his fault. He's 55 years old. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, what's the matter with you, Mike? Why can't you do what you used to? Because you're 55. So, look, am I concerned about Roy Jones possibly getting caught clean early and hurt? Of course. But I'm also concerned about Mike. Like, Roy Jones' punches don't tickle. Right? Like, so he could put a beating on Mike. Even if he's not going 100%, but he just boom, 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 landing punch after punch, and Mike's just tired and like, you know what I mean? Like accumulation or something. He's 55, dude. Like, ain't nobody gonna convince me that Mike's not on like some type of medication. Like nobody. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure Mike has some health issues. I don't think Roy Jones has health issues. I don't. Roy just recently has been fighting perfect. He's been taking care of his body. Mike hasn't. Like I'm just telling you guys. Now they're doing like a test for them and stuff, and they're doing VADA. That's the other thing. I think that favors Roy. The fact that Mike can't juice up to the gills. Look at him. He doesn't look like in that video from 3-4 months ago. That's VADA. You know what I mean? I think Roy can fight clean. I think that favors Roy. The more I talk about it, the more confident I get that Roy Jones is going to win. The more and more I talk about this fight. It's like it hasn't dawned on people that Mike Tyson hasn't fought in 15 years, hasn't won a fight in 17 years. 17! If you got a chick pregnant the last time Mike Tyson won a fight, you would have a 16-year-old daughter right now. A 16-year-old son right now. Right? Just think about that. Just stop and think about it. I'm just telling you right now. I'm just telling you. 17 years ago, when Mike Tyson last won a fight, if you got a chick pregnant at that time, you would have a 16-year-old kid right now. They're getting ready to 1 or 2 more years to graduate high school. That's the last time Mike Tyson won a fight. There we go, Chief. Bunky chain his pick. That's what it's all about. Roy Jones, baby. And this is the most winnable fight against a big name opponent Roy Jones has had in years. So I'm going to go for Roy. All right? I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. Okay? Hey, Blood. Mike lied to us, bro. Look at his body, bro. Come on. He fucking lied. Right? All those pictures where he looks ripped and all. I'm just telling you right now. I don't know if it's a vital testing or what, but the fact that they're doing vital testing favors Roy. Roy's been living the fighter's lifestyle. People can say what they want about Roy Jones. He's been living the fighter's lifestyle. Roy doesn't, put damage on his body. Mike's been doing cocaine and drugs and smoking weed. He had long gaps where he was just doing nothing and just out of shape. And now because he got in better shape than he was, now he wants to get in the ring with Roy. I'm telling you. Mike's going to gas out after a couple rounds. He's going to gas out. Watch Roy, man. Roy might pop some jabs to the body, bro. He might just pop them to the body a couple times to get him breathing hard. I'm telling you. In fact, Roy can just tap him to the body with a jab. Put a little hump on it and boom. Right in the body on Mike. So Mike doesn't get mad, right? So Mike's go at him. Boom. Just because those jabs to the body are fucking sneaky, dude. Let me tell you something. Those jabs to the body, you don't feel them right away. But after a round or two, all of a sudden, you feel tired. And you feel like this kind of like pit in your stomach. It's tight in there. And you're what the fuck? Why? You know what I mean? I'm telling you right now, man, Roy, I'm feeling confident. Y'all must have forgot, bro. Okay? I don't give a shit what anybody says. Roy Jones Jr. Right? He doesn't have the huge size advantage no more, says Blood. Zeno, salute, bro, to Blood. Garuga, compared to Andy Ruiz, Tyson looks in excellent shape. Well, I mean, wow. Garuga, you went out on a limb on that one, but here's what I know. Look, if Roy pops a jab to Mike's body, and the whole ring will get covered in a cloud of smoke, says Zeno. Let me tell you something, man. Just tap him to the body. Pop. Enough. And Mike Tyson thinks it's all in good fun. Ha, ha, ha. Pop to the body. You know what I mean? And Mike thinks we're just doing some pity pat shit. Pop to the body. And then round two, that's when he'll feel it. When he's in a stool and he stands up, he's like, oh, fuck. Oh, that's fucking sneaky motherfucker. Roy Jones is fucking. Oh, I know what he was doing. Motherfucker. I'm gonna beat his ass right now. I'm gonna go beat his ass, motherfucker. He's sticking those jab to my body, motherfucker. Yo, it's gonna be too late then. It's gonna be too late for Mike. He's gonna be tired already, right? Mike can't duck low and throw uppercuts like that no more, man. He can't do that shit no more. He can't. Mike can't throw a ferocity of 4 or 5 punch combinations no more. He can't do any of that. Right? Even when he lost to McBride and them, he was a one-punch fighter. He would throw one punch at a time even. If he was that then, he's that now. I'm just telling you right now. But he's yes, he's hitting mitts, all right? Ooh, he's hitting the mitts. But even when he hit the mitts, he was breathing hard. Like what do we know? What if he only hit the mitts like for like 30 seconds or something? All Roy Jones has to do is stay away from Mike, cover up, weather the first round, he'll be all right. Right? It's got to weather, maybe the 2 rounds. Just weather the first 2 rounds. Mike's going to be tired. Pop some jabs to the body. Okay? Mike Tyson's going to get tired. And then it's going to be over. Y'all must have forgot. Right? So now, obviously, there's a lot of questions going into this fight. All right? There's a lot we don't know. But I'm telling you right now, man, the fact that it's an exhibition favors Roy. It really does. Like, Mike Tyson's not going to have like a seek and destroy attitude like that. And you can say whatever you want, even if it's an extra round or 2 for Roy. Before Mike gets serious, that favors Roy. So, going to be interesting. I'm done. I just don't want to be a fighter no more. I just don't want to be a fighter. I really thought I wanted this, but I really don't. I just want to spend time with my family, and that's it. Props to Roy Jones. I mean, for fighting with me and giving me the opportunity so we could both make money. That's all. That's it. Okay, I don't know what the ref is, but I'm looking forward to the fight. Now, once again, before I go, guys, don't go into this fight expecting the fight of the year or like an all-out brawl. Okay? You're not going to get that. All right? You're not. If you're going to buy this event, if you're going to pay money for this event, do it because you're supporting Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., right? And for what they gave to the sport of boxing all these years. That's why you should do it. And that way, regardless of what happens, you're helping them out. You know, as boxing fans, we're helping them out, right? And because they deserve it. They deserve that payday for everything they gave the sport. All right? Just letting you guys know. I don't want to see anybody do videos and being angry at Mike because like, I can't believe this guy. You know, he made us think he was the old school Mike, and then he just like because if you're over here believing it's gonna be the old school Mike, then that's on you, right? If you're thinking to see an old school Roy, you're not. Period. All right. But with that said, yeah, I mean they look good for 50-year-olds for sure. All right, they do. I mean, look, a lot of 50-year-olds are on wheelchairs. So, but let me ask you guys this before I go. Which one of these 2 guys do you think is on like medications and shit? I just think it's Mike. I got to be honest. I think Mike's the one that's more likely should be on medications, right? I seen Mike balloon up in weight hard. I seen Mike confess just a couple years ago that he didn't ever stop doing drugs at any point of his life, right? Since he got out of prison, when he started doing that Iron Mike promotion thing, he said, I have a confession to make. I haven't gotten off drugs. Like, you know what I mean? So that's dude. He was smoking weed at the sign-in, and he's still. They had to like take out weed from the Vada thing to still let Mike smoke weed, and like I'm just telling you right now that he's just not. I don't think he's in shape to fight Roy Jones Jr. I just don't. Not even an exhibition. That's why Roy Jones came out. Joe Rogan interviewed and he said, "Look, I wanted 3 minutes. It was my advantage to have more minutes." But they cut me short, right? There's 2 minutes. So he's gone through hell. Like, so now Roy hasn't done, not that, I mean, I'm not saying Roy's never done drugs. I don't know, right? But Roy's not, like, when have you seen Roy all fat? Like, you know what I mean? When have you seen Roy, like, let himself go or, you know? You never seen that with Roy. All right? He's always been in shape. He's still in shape today. And I think he's ready to go. I think he's ready to go. Right? So, all right, he's a pothead. All right, cool. All right, let's both smoke weed. So that's why they let that shit go with Vada. You know what I mean? Like, I want to smoke too. You know, if he's gonna smoke, I want to smoke too. You know, because I got to smoke. You know, smoking is what I got to do. So if you're gonna smoke, you got to do what you got to do. Like, you know. Anyway, I really hope that none of these guys get hurt, man. Okay. And I don't want to hear any crying on YouTube after the fight. Like, God, man, they sold us this fight, and it was just an exhibition. They didn't really go that hard. What the fuck is this? What the fuck did I pay for? You already know it's going to be those dudes saying that shit, okay? If you don't already know what you're going to get, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to tell you if you don't already know that you're not going to get some amazing fight out of this. They're in their 50s. Mike Tyson's almost 60 years old. All right? I'm just saying. With that said, yeah, hey, Stone, like, you're going to see all these people make videos like, this is why UFC's taking over. You know, look, I bought this shit. And Roy Jones and Mike, it was like a sparring session. What the fuck? Like, well, yeah, that's what they told you it's going to be. You know? What do you think it's going to be? I'm just going to enjoy it for what it is. That's all I'm going to do. That's it. I'm going to support these two guys for everything they did for the sport. And if they want, look, if Roy Jones and Mike Tyson want to circle the ring and just pity pat each other, just play tag, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to be, hey, get your money. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm going to say. You deserve it. At the end of the day, Manny Pacquiao and fucking Floyd Mayweather just play tag for fucking 12 rounds, right? And charged $100 a piece, and they were champions in their prime, well, closer to the prime. Right? If they had a glorified sparring session, well, why not Roy and Mike? Why not? Why not Roy and Mike? I don't give a shit. If they look, if the bell rings and then they just go and hug in the middle of the ring and they call it a day, a lot of people will be bitching. I ain't bitching. I'm going to say, get your fucking money. You deserve it. Take your bow. Take your bow. That's what I'm going to say. But at the end of the day, that's all I got to say. Yeah, hey, Rod, Joyce is going to enter the ring right now, right? And he's already kind of throwing punches in certain areas. That way tomorrow he's going to try and get the Wallach in the corner, and those punches are like they're going to be on their way there. You know what I mean? Like so. I see every time I see Joe Joyce like shadow boxing, you know, and we don't see any punches, and now we know why. You know what I mean? Like they're still on their way to be thrown. But anyway, this is D-Style Boxing, guys. Enjoy what you got to do. Enjoy your time. I'm out. Peace.